In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my accessories and what's on my Google Pixel 9 Pro. Let's get right into it. Okay friends, welcome to the channel. A lot of you are new here because you have been discovering me from my Google Pixel 9 Pro videos. So if you are new, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. And if you've been sticking around for all of my Pixel videos over the past few years, welcome back. I really appreciate your support. And in today's video, I'm going to be answering a top question that I have been receiving on my most recent Pixel 9 videos or Pixel 9 Pro videos, and that is how I set up the phone, like all of the accessories that I have at this given moment and what is actually on the phone. So I'm going to start off by sharing with you the accessories, where I got it from, things like that, and then we will do a bit of a screen recording on the screen somewhere over here, and I will actually take you through a walkthrough of what is on my phone and how I set up the screens and stuff like that. I hope it gives a good look into how the phone works and performs on that level, so I hope it's going to be a fun video for you all. And anything that I mentioned that can be linked, I will link it down below. By the way, I am obviously not filming this video using the Google Pixel 9 Pro because it's in my hand right now. I couldn't film and show you the phone at the same time. So I'm using my OG camera that I have used in the past for all of my YouTube videos before I started using the Pixel phones to record my YouTube videos. So with all that being said, let's start with the accessories. Let's give one look. Let me give this a little clean here. Let's give one look to what the phone looks like right now. Again, I have the Google Pixel 9 Pro. It's in porcelain. You're not going to see it in the case that I have, but it's in porcelain. And this is the regular size. This is not the XL. I've been getting a lot of comments saying, like, are you sure that's not the XL? I am pretty darn sure this is not the XL. This just looks large because my hands are small. I am a small human being. Okay, so that is what the phone looks like. Of course, I have a case on it, and this is the case. So I got this case from Berga, and I believe the case itself was $69 or $65. I got some sort of discount, but it's in that price range. I decided to really invest in a case this year because I didn't really invest in one last year, and I felt like I should have been taking more good care of the phone, even though I do take very good care of the phone. So I invested in an expensive one, and it's very high quality. It's very like weighty. It's heavy, and it's kind of got like two cases, if that makes sense. So it's got the hard shell case, and then it has like this softer silicone piece on the inside. So that went on first, and then the hard case went on afterwards. So it is very secure, very safe and protected, even though I don't really drop my phone like that. And then the piece that I have on the back over here is like a, I think it's called a ring holder, but it's for your finger so that you can hold the phone like this. And I have noticed that this is extremely helpful. I used to use a pop socket in the past, but I don't really love the look of pop sockets, so this one looks really nice and clean. It matches the case perfectly because it's from the same brand, Berga, and I basically bought the two pieces together. I think this piece was, honestly, I can't remember. It wasn't too expensive, of course, but yeah, these two basically went together. And it can flip all around. It can rotate like this. So of course it's sort of meant to be used as like a finger holder or whatever, but you can also put it down on the table and use it as a stand. And I can use the stand facing this way or this way, so it really does come in handy. I think the only thing that I don't love about it is that when I'm trying to attach this to my tripod sometimes, this gets in the way and it just gets a little bit bulky. Also, the phone is now significantly heavier with all of this gear on it, but you know what? I think it's worth it, and I think the phone looks really nice in it. I historically, if you have been around for a while, you'll know that I don't love putting cases on these phones because I just wish that we could build a phone that won't get damaged so easily and needs a case. I would love to showcase the phone's beauty for what it is and the aesthetics of it for what it is, but of course, we still haven't gotten to that point. We have to have a case on our phones, right? Or generally speaking, I know with my Google Pixel 8 Pro, I didn't have a case for like 6 months, but oh, I just turned the flashlight on. Sorry. That is the setup, and those are the only accessories that I have on the phone right now. I don't know if I want to do a screen protector. I've never done a screen protector on my Google Pixel phones before because I've never had screen scratching issues, but we'll see if I end up changing my mind on that. And I did want to get a charm. On my Google Pixel 8 Pro, I had a charm that was kind of like hanging off the bottom, and it was meant to hold on my wrist, so I don't necessarily need one because I have this one now and I can just hold it like this. But it was pretty cute, and I wish I could add that to this, but I've noticed that there's no area for me to add a charm. Like, there's like no string loop section for me to add a charm, and I think the last time I was able to do it because I had a case that had that loop there. It was on the case, not the phone itself, but this case doesn't have it, so I guess I will be without a charm. I think that's okay. The phone is already kind of jazzed out and heavy as is. I think someone had commented and said that this phone was pretty heavy, and I have to agree, it is heavy. I did talk about that, you know, that premium feel, but it is kind of heavy. Anyway, those are all of the accessories, pretty much, just 2 things. But we're gonna jump into the actual walkthrough of what's on my phone, and I will share that on the screen. Okay, so you should be seeing my home screen right now. As you can see, it's very autumnal. My background is very autumnal. It's just a bunch of pumpkins. But I'm gonna start all the way to the far end of my screens, and this is essentially the Google Home feed. It has a curation of articles and ads, targeted ads, stuff like that, that is curated to my interests. And every once in a while, this feed will ask me about my interests. It will give me kind of categories to toggle if I like the topic or not, and if I do, I will start to see more articles based off of those topics, and that's how it continues to get curated. There's also like a heart button over here where you can heart the article, and the feed will know that you're interested in those types of articles, thus showing you more of those articles. There's also some good information all the way in the top. As you can see, there's like football stats or scores there, and there's the air quality in my local area, stuff that I would personally be interested in. And so yeah, I love having this feed embedded into the phone. This is not something that I added onto my home pages. It's just there, and I absolutely love it. I tend to swipe over onto this page often because there is actual interesting and curated articles in here that I would actually be interested in. So it proves to be useful, and I don't really need to do anything to get it to be useful. It does all the work based off of that curation I was talking about. Okay, moving on to the main page. This is what I see whenever I open my phone, I unlock my phone. And so starting from the top, you can see the date, of course. You can see the weather in my local area. It's got the high, it's got the low, it's got a little bit of information. Sometimes in that area where you see the weather, there might be some like appointments that would pop up there in replacement. So that's coming from the Google Calendar. And it only does that if there is an event coming up very shortly, like within the next 30 minutes or an hour or so. So I love that it just knows to do that. Again, something that I don't need to do on my own or I need to toggle through on my own. It just knows to show me relevant information at the time that I'm opening my phone. Right underneath it, I have a widget, and that is the Pinterest widget. That just takes Pinterest, what are they called? Boards or pins, and feeds it onto this widget every once in a while. I think like every day, every 24 hours, it refreshes. And these pins are not coming from boards that I've created. It's coming based off, it's feeding through based off of my interests and my searches. So I don't have any of those pins saved, but I was looking up stuff like that, and so that's why it's showing that. Just a heads up, if you wanted to see particular pins from your boards, it doesn't do that. At least I don't think it does. Okay, the widget right underneath it, that is my Notion widget. This, obviously you can see, is full of YouTube stuff because I put all of my YouTube content ideas into here. And I like that it's there so that I can quickly jump into any of these recent boards that I've been looking at, and I can get straight into work. I can get straight into looking up details. This is especially helpful. Like very recently I was planning a party, and one of the recent boards showed the planning party like master hub, and I was able to click into it and go through our checklists really quickly as I was planning the party. So it really does come in handy to have that there. And then I have some folders. So this folder over here is just a bunch of social media platforms, nothing fancy there at all. And then this folder has some health and wellness type of stuff. So it just has my food tracking journal thing and then my Aura ring. So I like those things to be there because I go into them very frequently, so I just want them to be very accessible without me swiping up to all of my apps, which I will get into in a second and show you, but I just like those things handy. And speaking of handy, at the very bottom, those are my most used apps. So on the far left, we have WhatsApp. Then we have this folder with all of my camera specific stuff. You all know that I love my camera. I love taking pictures, videos, all that stuff, and it's part of my content creation as well. So all of that is there. Instagram and TikTok get a special reserve in this folder instead of my social media one because I'm in those two apps extremely often, especially when I'm toggling between my photos and videos and photo editing softwares and those apps. Then I have Gmail, Google Chrome, and then this last folder on the far right is just safety type of apps. It's like my neighborhood apps, my camera apps, like phone tracking, all of that good stuff. So I like to have that front and center as well. And then swiping over to my next screen, and I think oh no, it's not my last screen. The next screen I have is just widgets. And if you're noticing something familiar about this, the screen is pretty much all similar to what I did on the 8 Pro. So this might be old news to some people, but I hope it does give a good view into the performance. Like, look how fast I'm able to move back and forth. Anyway, these widgets, the one on the far left over here, that one is my Google Keep, and that has my personal stuff in there. As you can see, I have like my weekly meal prep in there right now. Right next to it, this app or this widget is the Google Arts widget. Every single day it refreshes to a new art piece, and I love to click into that and just see the different art pieces. Let's see how long it takes to load because I haven't done that in a while. Yeah, I haven't logged in because it's a brand new phone, but it basically shows me a new art piece every single day, and I can click into it and see more details if I wanted to. And then the large widget right down here, that is my Google Calendar, and it's set up to be on a schedule format, so I can see things as they come in by hour on a schedule basis. Whereas if I swipe over to this section, this is also a Google Calendar widget, but this shows an actual calendar. It shows it in like the whole monthly sense. And this is probably the more traditional route, but I like the schedule route to look at as well so that I can see things on the hourly basis if I wanted to in comparison to something like this. And that segues into the final screen that I have, my final home screen that I have, which is this ginormous calendar. I like to look at this so that I can see on a large scale like what's going on if I have a really busy month in particular, or if people are like texting me and asking me like when I'm free, I can just swipe over to this and I can see it on a very large scale very easily right here on my home screen. So those are all of my home screens. Now I'm going to swipe up into my app so that you can see all of the apps, and I'll go into a couple of Google Pixel 9 Pro specific apps. At least I think they are specific to the 9 series at this given moment, and then we'll end it off there. So these are all of my apps. I'm not going to talk about all of these apps. I have tons and tons of apps, but I have Airbnb, I have a trip coming up. All Trails is a like hiking app. Amazon, American Express, Google Arts and Culture is the same one that I have the widget on my home screen. Bitmoji, I still use Bitmoji. Calculator, calendar, camera, Canva. Canva is a big one for me. I use that a lot for my podcast in particular. CapCut, another one that I use a lot. Chase, Google Chrome, City Mobile, my clock. I use the clock app for my alarms and such. Contacts, Credit Karma, CVS, Depop, Discord, a bunch of like usual stuff. If anything spots my eye and I think that it's interesting to talk about, I will. But Docs, Drive, Elfster. Elfster is a really cool one for the holiday season and for people's birthdays, by the way. It makes like digital wish lists and digital Secret Santas. ESPN, it's football season. Etsy. Fable is a new app that I just downloaded. It's like a reading app. I think you can also track like TV shows and stuff, but that's a new one that I need to explore. Follow is a really cool app that helps you track like wild animals. You like purchase a tracker, which is very cheap, and then you register it into the app, and then you can track animals. Very cool. Okay, Files, Find Device. I think that's a new app, by the way, Find Device. Haven't set it up, so I'm not going to click into it. Google Fit, Fitbit, Gemini. Let's click into Gemini and see how it looks from here. I've actually never looked into the Gemini app itself. I've actually only ever held the power button, which I'll do right now. And Gemini comes up on the bottom. As you can see, it's recording me right now, so I'm going to swipe away. But you can hold the power button on this phone and Google Gemini will pop up at the bottom, kind of the same way that Google Assistant does. And it's listening to me, it's doing all of its smart stuff. I'm going to swipe away, but that's essentially how you can access Gemini from this phone, in addition to the app. Okay, so then we have Gmail, Google, Google Fi, Google One. If you did not know, that is my service provider. I don't use any other of the traditional ones. I use Google Fi. Google One, Google TV, headphones, that's for my Sony XM4s. Home, IMDb, Instagram, Keep, Lemonade, Libby. Libby is a library, like a digital library app, so you can access library books from your phone. Life360, LinkedIn, LTK, that is where I should be linking a bunch of things and outfits and stuff, and I always forget to. Lyft, which I don't ever use. I should really uninstall this. I am gonna uninstall it. Okay. Maps, McDonald's, Google Meet, Merlin, which is like a bird tracker. I know that's very nerdy. Messages, Neighbors, Nest, News, Nextdoor, Notion, Aura, Park Mobile, let's see, Photos, Pinterest, here we go, Pixel Studio. I have been experimenting with Pixel Studio quite a bit, just for experimental and funsies' sake. I don't really love it, but it's kind of funny to do silly things, so let's just write an orange cat. And if you did not know what this studio is, it kind of does like AI graphics for you, which I kind of feel kind of funky about, but I have been using it to send silly pictures to Ian. So an orange cat wearing a dinosaur Halloween costume. I'm gonna hit that check mark and let's see what happens. Oh my god, that is the cutest thing ever. I'm gonna hit the little refresh button and see another variation. Okay, very, very similar to the first one. So just know that when you hit the refresh button, it doesn't typically do drastic changes. I can actually swipe between the two here. And as you continue to refresh, it will continue to have more swipe options. And of course you can add and add from there, but I just wanted to show you how that works. Again, I don't know how I would actually use that on a more practical basis, but it's there. Then we have Pixel Tips. Pixel Tips has always been on the Pixel phones, at least in the most recent ones, but I love that it's there and I can go in and kind of do a refresher on some things that I haven't been able to look at in terms of features and tools on these phones, because there's a lot. And there's always more things. Things are always updating. So the fact that it's an app that I can go in and do like tutorials and little mini lessons in, I love. I usually try to keep that one open often so that I remember to do it, but that's that. Okay, Play Games, Play Store, Poshmark, that's my food journal thing, PSENG. This food, I don't know how to pronounce this, but this is how I was to make, this was how I created my Halloween face on my watch, if you were curious. I talked about that in a video before, but that's the app. Recorder, retouch, rewards, route, safety, screenshots. I have not even used this, which is so funny because when I recapped the Made by Google event, I told myself that I was gonna absolutely love this app, and I've still yet to use it, even though I've had the phone for about 2 weeks. 2 weeks is not a long time, so I definitely will get in there when I get the opportunity to, but so far, me using screenshots in the last 2 weeks didn't require me to go into the app just yet. So we'll see. By the way, when I do screenshots, it still shows up in my photos as well. So just an interesting note there. Okay, then we have settings, Snapseed, Spotify, Storygraph, Substack, Sydney Health, Taco Bell, Teams, Thermostat, Threads. Thermostat is the same from the Google Pixel 8 Pro. Threads, Thrive Market, TikTok Tile, Translate, Tumblr, Uber Eats, Venmo. Well, I don't see. Oh, the last app that is very specific to this phone, I'm pretty sure, is this new weather app. And I actually have it open already, but It's kind of a new weather app. It's very niche. It's very interesting that they decided to choose this app to, you know, revamp, but this is what it looks like. So what's new about it is that, first off, and I'm looking at New York here, even though I'm not in New York right now, but it has a little bit of an AI kind of summary at the top, and I'm actually not seeing the AI summary. Maybe it's this weather insight right now, but usually it gives me more of a summary, like, expect a pleasant morning, but don't forget your sunscreen in the middle of the day, which is kind of like obvious, but you can also expand it and it will give you more information, like the high today is 77 and the low is 53 and blah blah blah, which is what you can probably figure out if you just scroll down a little bit. If the AI feature is quicker and helpful to you to, like, you know, get out of the house sooner if you're like getting ready for the day, then, you know, that might be super helpful to you. But the other thing that is new about this, aside from the structure of it, is that these work like widgets. So you can move it around and you can put things that are more important on the top, like humidity would be more important to me than anything else, as well as UV index. So you can toggle that around, and that's basically the extent of it. That's the experience that I've had with it so far, but it is pretty cool. It is pretty interesting. I like to go into the, you know, little boards, or I don't know what you're calling them, but go into the little boards and see more detail about it, which is kind of cool. It actually gives you some useful information. So, you know, if you want to know more about the pressure, you can figure that out. But that is pretty much it. I think that ends the video off. Again, I hope that was interesting. I know that might have been a little bit dull because my screen has been set up the way that it was on the Google Pixel 8 Pro, and so I didn't really switch anything up. I feel like there's no need for me to, because it's useful the way that it is, so I just transferred everything the same way. It's just mostly those new Google Pixel 9 Pro specific apps and Gemini that's kind of different, but I hope it was a good look into it regardless. If you have any questions, if there's anything in particular you want to see, do let me know in the comments. And of course, I'm going through all of your comments from the previous videos, and there will be full-length videos based on some of your comments as well, so stay tuned. I cannot wait to do a day in my life using the Google Pixel 9 Pro. That's probably the top requested video right now, so stay tuned. It's coming very soon. But thank you once again for hanging out with me. Thank you for being such a great and positive community in the comments. I hope to continue seeing more positive comments. Thank you once again, and I will talk to you in next week's video.